Hey guys, CryptoDad here again, and today I'm going to show you how to download and install the latest version of the Tor browser. So let's get started. Alright, so I'm here on the Tor webpage. I'm going to show you how to download and install the Tor browser. There's a lot of information on the Tor homepage about what Tor does, how it works, how it protects your privacy, protects you from trackers, all that kind of stuff. If you're here watching the video, I'm sure you want to use Tor, so I'll let you do that. I'll just go ahead and point out that the Tor browser is for specific types of browsing. You don't want to use the Tor browser for ordering stuff on Grubhub, buying stuff on Amazon, or using Google Maps to find a local coffee shop. Those sorts of services need to know who you are and where you are. So you won't use Tor for those kind of things. You'll use Tor for your private browsing, your reading, your research, that sort of stuff. And I'm sure you'll probably find other uses for the Tor browser too. So just be aware that the Tor browser is a very specific browser that protects your privacy. So in order to get started, we can click Download Tor Browser right here, and it takes you over to this page. Now, I'll also mention that I'm not going to go full tilt. If you're a secret agent or a dissident journalist in a repressive country, you'll probably want to up your security level a little bit. And ideally, you would want to run something like the Linux operating system if you're taking your security very seriously. But the majority of people out there are using Windows. So I'm going to show you how to do it in Windows. So what we're aiming for here is a reasonable amount of privacy and security. Now, I am going to walk you through the entire software verification process, which involves checking the software and making sure that it is definitely the right and proper version of Tor. And I'm going to have to walk you through how to use some software verification tools. I think this is very important. Some people don't. If you just want to skip ahead to the installation process, I've divided up this video into chapters, so if you'd rather not go through the verification process, you can skip ahead to that chapter in the video. But I highly recommend that you go through this process. It's not too difficult, and I'm going to walk you through every step. So notice here that next to the download button, we have this signature link, and this is the signature that will verify the installer for us. And I'll show you how that works. So the first thing I'll do is click Download for Windows, and you can drop this installer into your Downloads folder. And then I'll click the back button here, and I want to download this signature because we're going to use it to verify the Tor browser installer. I'll just click here. And notice that it has the same name as the installer, but it's an ASC type file. Now, your computer may not even identify this file type at all, but once we get all the tools installed, we'll be able to use it. So we'll click Save. And then notice here that we've got the Tor browser installer and the signature file right next to each other in the Downloads folder. They do need to be in the same folder for all of this to work. Now, in order to verify the Tor browser, we're going to need to use a specialized software called GPG for Windows. I'll put a link to this in the description down below, and then we'll click on this download button. And you can make a donation if you want to, or you can just hit 0 and click download. All right, we'll drop this into our downloads folder as well. We can start to go down a little rabbit hole when we start dealing with verifying the verification software. But we do want to reasonably verify our verification software. There's a link here on checking the integrity, and this can get quite complicated. A lot of it involves already having verification software installed from a previous version. If this is the very first time that you've downloaded GPG for Windows, there's a wiki page on doing a really deep dive on verifying the software. I'm just going to settle for a ShaSum check, which just basically checks the integrity of the downloaded file. So I know some of you might want to go deeper into it, but I'm just going to accept this as a reasonable verification. In order to check a SHA-256 checksum, you will need some additional software. I have a link here to a great piece of software that I've used for many years called MD5 and SHA Checksum Utility. I'll put a link to this down in the description. You can buy the pro version or you can get the free version. So keep in mind, if you try to download the free version, you'll see some ads. You might have to navigate around. Now, if you don't want to go all the way and download ShaSum software, there are some ShaSum checkers online. You can just Google ShaSum online. Notice that there's one here. And we can basically do our ShaSum check with an online tool rather than downloading software. So we've already downloaded the GPG for Windows installer. So I'll go ahead and launch my ShaSum checker software. Now what we want to do is locate the file that we downloaded, the GPG for Windows installer. We'll click open. All right, and there's the SHAs that it generated. Those are locally generated. Now I want to grab this one. This is the one that I need to compare mine to. This is the one the developers have provided on their web page. So I can paste that one in here and do a verify and see that my SHA-256 matched. Like I said, we can go a lot further with this if you want to do a deep dive, but I'm just going to accept my GPG for Windows installer as genuine, right? So now I can go over here and run my GPG for Windows installer. I'll go ahead and let it install all the tools in the default location. All right, and then they recommend that you reboot your computer. So do I. All right, now that we have GPG for Windows downloaded and installed, we can use it to verify our Tor browser installer. So there's a lot of tools in GPG for Windows, but the one that we're interested in is Kleopatra. So we can just search for it, KL. We'll go ahead and open Kleopatra. We can do our verification step from within this software. Now notice I have the Tor browser developer signing key in here within my keys. You will need to get that for this process to work. Let's go back over here. Now notice when we verify the Tor browser installer, we're going to need three components. We're going to need the installer and the signature file, but we're also going to need the developer's signing key. This can be a little confusing, so I'm just going to show you how to go through it. We'll scroll down here to the bottom where they have a link on the verification process. I'll put a link to this little support page down in the description below. What we want to do is get a hold of that signing key. We can do this in the command line using this command. We can also try to use Kleopatra to download the key. Now, sometimes this fails, as it did with me, so they do have a workaround. Let's go down there and grab that. All right, when I click that link, it pulls up this key. I'll go ahead and hit save. All right, and now we can use Kleopatra to import that key into our list of keys. We'll hit import here, and then we can click on this key that we just downloaded, click open, and notice here that it pulls in that Tor browser signature file. Another step that you're going to need is to certify the key after you download it. And that's, you can right click and certify. You'll notice that I've already certified mine, but in order to do this, you'll need your own key. So when you attempt to certify your first key, it's going to ask you to create your own key, which you can name anything. And once you've created your own key and set a password, you'll be able to certify keys. All right, and there we go. Now I know this is a lot, and some people just give up, and it took me many months of playing around with all of this and a lot of frustration. That's why I'm walking you through all of these steps. So, like I said, if this is too much for you, then skip ahead to the installation chapter in the video. All right. But we're in the home stretch, right? All we have to do now is click Decrypt Verify, navigate over to our Downloads folder, and click right on that Tor Browser installer. Click Open. And there we go. Notice how we have this nice green signature and verification of the downloaded file, right? We've got a valid signature by the Tor developers. But we did have to go through quite a bit to get all of this software installed. But if you managed to do all that, bravo for you. We're now ready to go ahead and run the Tor Browser installer. So let's go back over to our download folder. Now that we trust the installer, we'll go ahead and double click. All right, so the moment of truth now, we'll go ahead and install. Now, it's going to want to install the Tor Browser folder on your desktop. I'm not a huge fan of having a folder on my desktop, so you can change the location if you want to. I'm going to put the folder on my secondary drive. You can also just drop it on your C drive if you want to do it that way, if you only have one drive on your computer. I'm just going to drop it on my secondary hard drive. All right, on my D drive. So I'm going to have a Tor Browser folder. We'll hit Install. All right, we can click Finish here and let it put the desktop shortcuts there for us. Notice that it put an icon on our desktop. You can use that if you want. It should also be in your list of applications. If you want to, you can right-click this and choose Pin to Start so that you can get to it easier. And there you go. All right, so we'll need to connect to the Tor network. I like to use Configure Connection, and I like to use a bridge here. We can select the built-in bridge. This one, OBFS4, is pretty good bridge. That just improves your privacy and security. We got the bridge installed. All right, now we can go ahead and connect to the Tor network. And there we go. We got our Tor browser launched. Now you can browse the internet with the Tor browser and it gives you a reasonable amount of privacy and security. But in order to get the full effect, you'll want to use onion sites. And an onion site is an internet address that ends with onion. And those are the sites that only the Tor browser can use. So let's look for one. I'll search for Hidden Wiki. Now notice the web address here is a ClearNet address. In other words, it's an address on the normal web, not the deep web. If we click on this link here, it's going to give us a number of links. Right, and notice that these web links end in .onion. Those are the types of links that will give you the best privacy because you've got the encryption on both ends. The browser that you're using encrypts your traffic, and the website that you're browsing also encrypts its traffic. So let's go ahead and click on this one. All right, and notice there that the web address ends in onion. Right? This is what you're looking for when you want the ultimate in privacy and security. You may not want to use this one, but you can always go back and try one of these other ones here. It's the official Hidden Wiki, right? And notice there that the web address ends in onion. All right, I like to bookmark these. You can go over here to the settings window and choose Show Bookmarks Toolbar. So you can see the toolbar down here, and you can drag this here and then rename it so that you know what it is. All right, and then you can get back to it whenever you need to. There's a lot of tools here that you can find on the dark web. And as I mentioned, there's more than one of these hidden wikis. Notice that we've got a couple others down here that we can use. All right. All right, so that'll get you started. There's a lot of things you can find on the deep web, some good, some bad, but that's entirely up to you. You choose what you want to browse. But I showed you how to get the Tor browser downloaded and verified and installed. And I showed you how to use Onion web addresses. So good luck on your journey. If you have any questions about anything I did, please throw them up in the comments and I'll do my best to get them answered. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate it. When you subscribe, there's a little bell that you can click that will allow you to be alerted whenever I post new content. Once again, thanks for joining me and hope to see you again soon.